Good morning. We're halfway through the book already. Sibba sat. A short story. Sibba sat silently. People came and people went. Still, Sibba sat. An old man who was not so old asked Sibba, "Why do you sit? You should go out and play. You should go enjoy life." Still, Sibba sat. The season changed as Sibba watched. Silently he watched. He watched the flowers pop their heads out of the ground, grow tall on their stalks, looking up at the sun, welcoming the warmth and the sunshine. Sibba watched the birds as they flew and landed and pecked around on the ground, looking for something to eat. He watched as they built their nests. Sibba watched as the bird eggs hatched and the babies grew. Sibba watched as they matured, grew feathers, and flew away. Sibba watched as the seasons changed, spring into summer, in the hot sunshine Sibba sat. Sibba watched as the leaves began to turn, fall off the trees, and fall became winter, and still Sibba sat. Through the cold, through the winter, Sibba watched as the children grew, became adults and had children of their own, and their children grew. Life and death in a cycle, Sibba saw. Everything begins, everything ends, everything begins again, and still Sibba sat. Again the old man approached. "Sibba, why do you sit? You should be out playing with the other children. You should be out enjoying life and living." Sibba did not reply. Still, Sibba sat. Some other children approached Sibba. They said, "Sibba, you are not like us. We do not like you. Why do you sit? Get up." Sibba did not speak. Sibba did not listen. The children taunted and teased. Still, Sibba sat. After a while, the children left. Later, a little girl approached, trying to win Sibba's affection, smiled at him, sat next to him, and touched his arm. "Sibba, why do you sit? Why do you not look at me?" Still, Sibba sat. The little girl sadly walked away. Sibba did not look. Sibba only sat. Some pilgrims came and left milk and flowers at Sibba's feet. Sibba drank. Sibba rose. And Sibba went to his house and went to his bed. That night Sibba dreamt. He dreamt he played. He dreamt he had a pet which he loved, which grew old and died. Sibba dreamt he was a bird. He flew and built a nest. Sibba dreamt he was an old man talking to a young child. Sibba woke and Sibba sat. Hello and good morning. Welcome to my life. I want to start out with a disclaimer, but then again I do not. What you see is what you get. This is no filter, straight from the brain stuff. This is who I am, and this is who we are, not just me. More or less. This is a science experiment of sorts. My hypothesis is everyone has pretty much the same thoughts. We are one big organism. We think we are individuals, but in reality we are not. Remember, this is an experiment to prove or disprove that theory, and the way for me to do my part in figuring this out is by writing this journal of all my thoughts, feelings, and actions throughout the day, and then you read and compare and know the outcome of the experiment from your point of view. I believe, though, that I will not find the outcome because this is my view and it's the only view I have. I'm giving you the gift of my view, so you'll have two views as to better see the whole picture. So, getting on with it. Today is Friday, May 25th, 2018. I got up about an hour ago and have been lollygagging around the house, getting ready to go to the gym. My legs are sore from yesterday's workout. I deadlifted 145 pounds 10 times, 3 sets and added 20 pounds more, and could barely lift that but did it 5 times. This is where you start thinking I'm bragging or not. I don't know what you're thinking while you read this, but to help you compare to yours and see if in fact we are so totally different or exactly the same. Weightlifting is my thing. It may not be yours. You may enjoy working on cars or watching TV, and that doesn't mean that we are totally different. It just means to substitute my passion for yours and to see if it still adds up. Well, I'm off to the gym. So I had a small shock when I got in the truck to go to the gym. I thought my driver's license was in the middle console, but when I checked, it wasn't there. I felt my heart go whoomp. Then I remembered I drove the car yesterday, so I checked, and there it was, so no worries. The thing about writing this that concerns me a little bit is that I don't want to be boring or to make you stop reading, put it down and say, this is garbage. Nobody wants to read what somebody does all day. Who cares what somebody does all day? I do what I do and you do what you do, and why would I care what you do? So I want this to be more informative, and to me, I believe, of course, my egotistical mind believes that I have great and wonderful thoughts that I want to share with everybody. I mean, that's what Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and Snapchat and all that's about, to feed people's egos. They think they look good today, so they take a picture to show everybody, or the food they are about to eat looks delicious and they want to show it to everybody, and I get that. Some people hate it. Some people say, oh, that face space and Twitter crap, I'm not into any of that. And I'm like, hey, good for you. If you don't want to post your personal thoughts and feelings for everyone to read, well, good for you, or whatever. I don't really care one way or the other whether you want to post or you don't want to post. Personally, I don't post private stuff, but every once in a while I'll take a picture of myself or my food because, hey, it's fun. It's fun to read what other people post, and it's interesting to me to see a glimpse into their world, whether it's a photo of themselves, their kids, their dog, or something they did. It's important for society, and it does help us to see how we are compared to other people. And that is what I'm looking for in writing this. It's not that we care about comparing ourselves with others. It's that I want to know how much we are alike. Are my thoughts and what I do and what I like to do and how I think of the world, my ideas, how is that? I mean, none of it's important, and who cares if we're same or different? We're all born into this life, and we do the best we can, and then we die, and it's over, and what does it matter that we drove a Corvette for a few years? Time is fleeting, and we're all just dust in the wind. But when you bring it down to the corporeal level, it matters a lot that we drove a Corvette. It matters that we did so well with living and making it and following the rules of the cosmos. These are the things that make us successful and able to afford the great luxuries of life. We do things in a certain way and we get things we want. There is something there that drives us to do the things we do. Why do we have to get up every morning and go to work and make money and support ourselves and support our families? We do that because it's a responsibility. And what is this responsibility anyway? It's a way for the government to make money by taking part of our salary. They say you have to do these things because that's what a productive member of society does. Then you think, if I didn't work, how would I eat? How would I protect myself from the elements? How can I have a family? There are all these questions you have to answer because you're an adult and you're responsible for yourself. You're responsible for taking care of yourself. You're responsible for your actions and how you make other people feel. Do you want to care about others? Do you care about others? Do you want them to be happy? Perhaps making others happy makes us happy because we feed off of each other. And there are these vibrations that come off of others and it makes us feel a certain way. If another person is angry and in close proximity to you, you feel distressed and you may start to feel angry yourself, because this person is like a mirror. Everybody is like a mirror, and if you are happy, then they are happy. I used to smoke pot when I was a bit younger and believed that everybody smoked pot. Now that I don't smoke, I still think that a lot of people do, but I don't think everybody does. What leads me to think this way is that there are so many people who have to live with a job that requires drug testing, and you cannot get fired from your job because you wouldn't have a way to pay your bills. So the responsible thing to do would be not to smoke marijuana. And how many people are responsible? I look at nice cars, I look at nice houses, I look at all the people working jobs, and that is a big chunk of responsible people. So, how many really do smoke marijuana? I don't know. Me personally, I want it to be legal. I see nothing wrong with it. It's not worse than drinking alcohol. I don't like drinking alcohol. It makes me feel bad. It gives me a headache, and it's hard to get up the next morning, and I do what I need to do, but smoking pot just makes me feel good. So why would it be illegal? Some people say it's illegal because of all the money the government makes seizing property belonging to drug dealers. They say the government goes out and seizes property and bank accounts from these huge drug cartels and makes millions of dollars, and if marijuana were legal, they wouldn't be able to do that. But think of the taxes. If they sold marijuana cigarettes for $5 and they made $3 off of it, think of how much income that would be. It seems like that would be enough money to support everything. I'd pay $5 for a marijuana cigarette. In fact, I'd pay $10. So, I think it would be more profitable doing it that way. You see, I just went off on a tangent on my way to the gym because that's how my mind works, and I'm not going to point out how my mind works anymore because I want this book to be a fun read, something to think about, what my thoughts are during the day, a scatter here and there about what I'm doing, so hopefully somebody will get something out of this. Hopefully we will learn a little more about ourselves and how the world works and maybe solve some of these problems. So I just got out of the gym. I walked on the treadmill for about an hour and walked about 3.5 to 4 miles an hour, a brisk walk. And I feel like everything I have these good intentions, but then they just fizzle away. You hear all the stuff about ADD, and so many people claim to have it. I understand that there are kids that really need help, but I think that everybody has some of it. And yes, I said everybody, like the smoking pot part. Everybody, when I smoked pot, I thought everybody did it. So I think everybody has some kind of ADD. But I don't think that's a defect. I think it's the opposite, being it is a chore to concentrate, to stick with the plan, to complete something from start to finish. It takes hard work and dedication, and that is what so many people lack, because it's hard. Get to a point where you say, maybe I made a mistake and I shouldn't have started this in the first place, or maybe there's a better way of doing it. Let me try something else. That, I believe, is the main thing. There is a better way of doing it. So, 4 days ago, I said I was going to do an experiment. I was going to do the Keto Diet. That's where I limit carbohydrate intake from low to none and eat only protein and fat. What happens is that after a few days, your body runs out of glycogen stores and starts producing ketones, which help your body burn fat for energy instead of the glycogen, which you get from carbohydrates. Well, I wanted to keep track of everything I ate, my weight, my body fat percentage, and my exercise, so I could pass this information along to those who are thinking about getting on a ketogenic diet, so they will know what to expect. Well, after 4 days, my weight had been going up. I had no energy. I felt soft. My muscles were soft, and it was hard to work out. I felt so weak, and so I just couldn't take it any longer. And after 4 days, I ate 4 slices of Pizza Hut pizza and 6 of those little apple pies. I just couldn't stay with it, and I say, oh, I'm a loser. I couldn't do what I planned on doing. I couldn't stay with it. I must have ADD, and I'm not good at completing a project. I've completed a few projects in my life, but not to the extent that I wanted to. The last thing I did, I said I wanted to compete. It was hard. I didn't think I was ready, but I still went out and I did it, and I won second place, and that was because there was only 2 people in my category. So, I mean, that sucks, but, it gave me the experience and it gave me the desire to keep going. So I didn't actually complete it. I did what I said I was going to do, but not to the extent I want to do more, as in to earn my pro card. I want to be up on the Arnold stage, the Olympian stage. That's my true goal. That's what I want to do. So far as I've just been mediocre, just floundering. We say, oh, well, we're human and it's hard to do this kind of stuff and you have to have dedication, man. I work a full-time job and I don't really have the time to do this, but I want to. This is my goal. I'm working so hard for it. I go to the gym whenever I can and I work out for as long as I can, for as hard as I can. Then, when I try to do something like this diet where I'm not eating any carbs and I'm so weak and tired and cannot lift the weights and I don't have the endurance and strength to get through the workout and I feel like a loser, I need to get my priorities in order. I need to see what it is I need to be doing. Focus. I need to focus. Like the book I'm writing now. Will I actually make this? Take all this writing, type it out, publish it, and sell my books? That's my goal. So how am I going to get there? Well, oh well. Everyone says take the first step. The first step is the hardest. The first step of every single step is the hardest. The first step I've already done. The first step was deciding to do it in the first place, and that's easy. That's easy to decide to do something. And the second step, I'm sitting here writing the book, and that's not hard. No, that's not hard either. So first step, thinking about it, that's not hard. Second step, writing it, that's not hard either. Third step, what is the third step? Publishing it? I don't think that's hard. Google how to publish a book and it'll tell you how to do it with links. I have not done it, but this is me doing it right now. So far in this point of the book, I haven't done it yet. I'm still writing it, but it doesn't seem like it's so difficult that I cannot do it. None of the steps seem difficult. So what is it? Is anything difficult? If you do it step by step, moment by moment, then I can't see how it can be difficult. You're hungry, you want carbs, and so you are in that moment where you feel you cannot go another minute without eating carbs. But I wonder, when you are down there deep immersed in it, and you are in that Corvette, but when you step away and become that dust, and you see that nothing matters, and you don't have to eat carbs, you can get over it. One more rep, one more weight, one more minute on that treadmill, one more pound added to your rack, another minute on the treadmill. After a while, you've done it. After a while, you're working out, and you are in the best shape of your life, and you are eating right because you figured it out. You took the time to say, maybe this diet isn't right for me, but let me find out what works for my body. Then I can say I did it. I took the time to do the science experiment to figure out what works for me. I could eat fish and asparagus every day for a week, then eat 5 sweet potatoes in one day, and the next day my muscles will be hard as rocks. Will they? I don't know, but it sounds logical to me, and I'm willing to try it out and see. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. Maybe I'll do it today. So my point is that we can do anything if we take things minute by minute, step by step. And if we remember this, we can complete anything. And this is something I'm teaching myself as I'm writing this. This is how we learn. This is how we do it, by doing it. Do you know this? Do you already know this? The stuff that I'm saying, have you come to this point in your life yet where everything I'm saying to you, you're like, yeah, that's it. I already know this. I agree with you. I identify with you. Or do you think I'm crazy and none of this makes any sense? Like attracts like. Those who don't understand what I'm saying, don't agree with what I'm saying, have a whole different philosophy. And if so, are these certain groups of people? Like, are there certain trains of thought? Certain fields of thought? What am I saying now? Is these, 100,000 people who think the way I think? And is there 100,000 people who think the way you think? And is there another 100,000 people that think some other way, totally different from the thoughts of you or I? Or are you in my group or what? These are things that I would like to know. What makes you the way you are different than me? What is the same? Did we grow up in the same type of area? Did we go to the same type of school or have the same type of parents? Are we totally different but believe the same things or believe different things? If I put all this in a pile and separated each particle, and I would have a pile of sand, I would look at each grain through a magnifying glass and I would sort it. And I would say, this piece of sand goes in the pile with the rounded edges, and this piece of sand goes in the pile with the sharp edges, and this piece of sand goes in the pile with the round edges but the black specks. And after a while, every piece of sand will be in its own space.